Alright guys, how you going? Welcome to the recap video of Glenbawn. I was planning on doing this outside, but the weather just came across a little bit not so nice and started to rain, so it quite literally put a dampener on things. But as I said, this is the recap video for Glenbawn, so we're just going to go through just a rundown of the weekend and maybe what I could have done better. Looking back now and seeing what other people did who did better than me, to sort of just, you know, go over a few things and see where I went wrong, pretty much. But look, it started a couple weeks before, you know, like the whole weekend for me was just riddled with dramas. Like this whole year seems to be dramas happening, but not until I'm at the tournament. It doesn't happen a couple weeks before, it happens at the tournament. But you know, I was supposed to head down and pre-fish for the Lake Glenbawn round 2 weeks out. That's when we have our pre-fish ban. 2 weeks before is the cutoff. And a couple days before, my old man called me and said, look, you're not going to be going down. I had oil pissing out the bottom of my motor on the prop, so the prop shaft seal was dead, to say the least, and water and oil and a whole lot of stuff you don't want mixing was mixing in there. So the old man, lucky he's a mechanic, he had to get some parts for it and fix that all up. And I mean, it came out alright. My dog is just making some serious noise. I apologise if there is some background noise because my dog is at my feet with his ball. Hey, here's the little man. Thank you, buddy. Oh, thank you. Look, say hello. Say hello. No idea. Alright. That was Dallas, everybody. To new viewers that haven't met my little Frenchie before, and now I've got dog hair all over me. But as I was saying, the drama started a couple weeks before. I couldn't go down and pre-fish the event, which was a massive hit for me. You know, Glenbawn being such a monstrous dam. There's a lot to work out. There's a lot of places that you can fish, and yeah, so couldn't go down and do that. Then all was good, you know, I went down there. Everything seemed to be smooth sailing, and then on official pre-fish day, my front sounder decided to completely die on me. Why, I have no idea, but that really threw me, and I sort of just mucked with my headspace a fair bit. And yeah, it's definitely not what you want. You know, 1 day out from a tournament, or half a day out from a tournament, being 10.5 hours south, is one of your sounders dying. So I had to make do with one, and it was just a balls up of a weekend. But, you know, these things happen, and unfortunately they don't happen when you want them to. I mean, you never really want them to, but you definitely don't want them to on a tournament. But that seems to be the way that things work out. But, you know, finishing 23rd overall, I can't complain. I'm pretty happy. It was a 68 boat field, so 23rd, that's literally in that sort of top third, so I definitely can't complain with that at all. It gave me good points for AOY, so hey, 23rd is okay. So getting back to what I was doing and how I was catching my fish, it really didn't vary much from last year. I was actually just sitting on the same bank where I did last year, and I found fish there the year before as well. The water had dropped quite a lot. You know, the water had dropped an absolute mile. So where I was fishing, you know, up on the bank, that was like an absolute hilltop. It was crazy. But essentially I was still fishing in like that 30-ish foot of water, maybe like 25 to 30 foot. It did drop off again pretty deep, but that's not where I was catching those fish. So I just targeted those fish the way I did last time. Now, having a look at the main rig that I was throwing all weekend, it is a Kuma Helios HSS 701 medium. So it's a medium action rod because I was throwing a 1/4 ounce jig head, so I really didn't want something that was too soft on the tip. And this rod has plenty of backbone and plenty of get up and go when you've got those heavier jig heads on, targeting those sort of suspended fish or the fish that are holding on the bottom. But as I said, I was throwing the 1/4 ounce and it held up great. So this is actually the a little look at the rod itself. Kuma Helios hitting on the roof there, which isn't really helping. And I actually did have it paired up with my Akuma Helios reel. So this is the HSX 20. So it's a 20 size. So it's not as big as sort of like your 3000 size reels. It's actually closer to maybe like 1000 size or a 2000 size reel. But that was my workhorse for the weekend. Obviously I got a jerkbait tied on there now, but that's not what I was throwing down there. As for the lures of what I was using, a lure of choice, as I said earlier, I was actually using the TT Demons Headlock series. I was using a 1/4 ounce, but they're only in like a size 1 hook, so it's quite a small hook. You know, the fish down in these southern dams feed on gudgeon, so it's not like some of the Queensland dams where they've got big bonies and you can throw your 3-inch plastics. Down south, Lake St Clair, Lake Glenbawn, you really want to be throwing that 1.5 to 2-inch plastic. So they're the two colours I was actually using in particular. So we've got Golden Boy and we've got the green. This one's the green. I know it doesn't look too green, the camera's not really picking it up, but it really matched well with some of your greener plastics and some of your more natural looking plastics. So I actually had them rigged up on a 2-inch Kitech. The colours actually in the Kitech that I was using was an IU and a green pumpkin pepper. The green pumpkin pepper did really well for me last year. It seemed to be the main one they liked this year too, but IU also did get a couple of those fish to bite as well. We'll have a quick look at those guys. So they're the two colours that I was mainly throwing. This one's the IU and the 2-inch. This one's that green pumpkin pepper, so it's a little bit more of a translucent colour that I was using when that sun was coming up, make it look a little bit more natural. Some people were using, you know, cut down 3-inch profiles and stuff, and you can do that. I mean, the problem is it's just a different action. You know, the gudgeon down, this matches a gudgeon so well. It's not even fair to the rest of the people that aren't throwing Kitechs, you know. This 2-inch profile is what the fish are eating down there. So you've heard of Match the Hatch. This is about as close as you can get to matching the size and just that slender profile of the gudgeon. So these are my go-to lures whenever I'm fishing down south in those southern dams. As always, I do like to throw a little bit of S-factor on all of my stuff, you know. I've been using this stuff for years, and you know, when I first started, I was like, oh, you know, I don't know if I really trust it, you know, because I can't smell it. Because you can't smell it. I like that you can smell it because you know it's on there, you know it's still on there when you're casting it out and bringing it back. S-factor doesn't really smell, but what it is, it's the UV. So this is UV enhanced. So that apparently is what the fish see under the water, is all the UV from the light refracting off your lure, and putting this stuff on just enhances all of that. So essentially it's maximizing your chance of getting a hookup, chance of getting a fish. So I load that on all of my plastics, and sometimes on blades and stuff if the bite gets hard, but definitely covered this in my plastics. The other secret to what I was doing was get a bit of garlic dip and glow. So this stuff is a dye, a plastic dye. You know, the Americans use it for their worms and stuff over here. The trick is to dip your tail down there and match some of those gudgeons down there. It has a strong garlic scent, and this stuff stains. You do not want to spill this on your boat, and you definitely don't want to get this on your hands, because it will just be there for the next 2 weeks. It just doesn't come off, which is great on a lure, because that's exactly what you want. But all I was doing is, the way to actually use the gut, you don't want to go crazy and just dip it straight in the thing. Take the lid off, hold the lid upside down, and just get the tail of your plastic, and just dip the tail in the lid. You don't want to pour it into your lid, just whatever residue is on that lid, that's enough. All you're wanting to do is just imitate the gudgeon so well. Sometimes they like the tail dip, sometimes they don't. I've got a red dip and glow in my boat as well, but the chartreuse worked for me last year on the green pumpkin pepper, and it's mainly what was working for me this year too. So it was pretty much the green pumpkin pepper, S Factor, chartreuse dipped tail, and I was banging fish. Definitely weren't as big as what I wanted to catch, but you know, I got my bag both days, and I mean, honestly, there's probably not a lot I would have done differently. The main thing that I would have done differently looking back now is I probably should have hit some edges. I went into this tournament with the mentality of I'm definitely not going to hit any edges because 68 boat field, down south, it's Glenbawn, these edges are going to get absolutely hammered. So in pre-fish I was really looking for underwater humps, you know, coming in 40 foot of water, maybe coming up to 20 or 30 foot, looking for points under the water where those bass are going to be holding out. And I did find a lot of spots. Only a quarter of those spots really had the fish that were chewing at the time. And the best spot for me was where I caught my fish both days and where I caught them last year. So, as I said, looking back, I probably should have hit some edges early in the morning and then gone to my spots, but that's fishing, you know, you make these 50-50 decisions and sometimes they work out and sometimes they don't. So that just about sums up the recap, guys. Like, that's all I can say. There wasn't a whole lot that I did wrong. There wasn't a whole lot that I probably should have done better. It was just that 50-50 decision of what I made up my mind up on, and it kind of worked out. So I'm happy. It was 23rd, 68 boats. That's a pretty decent finish. But look, thank you for watching, guys. If you guys want any information on any of the stuff that I was using, whether it be the Akuma Helios rod or the reel, S Factor, Dip and Glow, the Kitex, the TT lure jig heads, whatever you want, drop a comment below, or I've got links down below that you can go over to their websites and check out the gear. And fishandbits.com actually has all the stuff over there, you can purchase it. And those guys are super quick out of Toowoomba in getting stuff out to you guys. So any questions, post below. If not, if you just want to have a look at all the Akuma gear, Fear My Heart gear, Akuma apparel, I've got all the links down below for you guys. But look, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with me. Thanks for watching the Glenbawn stuff. If you haven't seen the Glenbawn stuff, this is going to be a spoiler. But if you're watching this now and haven't seen the Glenbawn stuff, jump over onto my YouTube channel and check it out. And then you can watch this, and then everything's going to make so much more sense. Alright guys, last but not least, make sure you jump over to my Instagram, Keeghan Painter Fishing, and my Facebook. Drop me a follow over there, and if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel down here somewhere, or this side, I don't know, but it's down there. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and ring the little bell so you can get the notifications when the videos come up. But right now, me and the little man, oh, here he is. We gone. You gonna sign out, bud? You gonna sign out? Say goodbye. We are out.